And this is June 7th, 2022. And we're here at 2173 Rustic Road in Wallagrass. We're visiting with Laura Saucier. As you can see, very patriotic, a flag on the lawn. Also a Boston Red Sox fan. She's been living here since 1970. And it's really a home, as we're going to see. Outside, not only is there a ramp, but a whole garden. And this is Laura's garden. As you can see, the onions are growing well. And over here we have lettuce. And we have cucumbers. A good garden right here on her porch. And we have a nice tomato plant. Notice it's already flowered. Soon to have tomatoes. Along with vegetable, she's also has a lot of flowers all over her porch. Nice spring flowers. A true gardener. Also on the porch, you can see a hummingbird feeder. Not only is she a gardener, she's a naturalist with all the birds and all the flowers. And this is Laura's entrance to her house. A nice sign that says Laura, welcome to Maine, Maine license plate, and also a moose hunt, which shows 1992 and 2015. So apparently, she's been hunting moose. And in the corner we have a cowboy hat.
That's my son.
Now this is a great wind chime. All here on Laura's porch. And let's all kinds of cups, spoons, forks, everything in the kitchen. And now we'll join Laura on the inside of her house. Well, we're in Wallagrass, Maine. And here we have somebody who is approaching how old?
100 years old.
How close are you?
You mean how many more months?
Yeah, how many more months?
4 months.
4 months, and then
I'll
you're
be
going to
100 years old.
You'll be 100.
Yeah, on the 5th of October.
And your name is?
Laura Saucier.
Now, Laura, has it always been Laura Saucier?
Yes. I was born with that name.
Oh my God. You were, so what year were you born in?
1922.
1922.
Oh,
That's 100.
That-
2022.
I know.
trying to think what happened that year. It seems to me it's a popular year, 1922.
Where is it? I got a book of 1922 here if I could find it.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, my granddaughter bought me a book, and it was. I bet you I won't be able to find it when I need it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right here. I don't know where it is.
Well,
But
certainly.
everything that happened in 1922,
Yeah.
and the bread was 12 cents a bread at that time.
Yeah.
Hamburg was 29 cents a pound. Everything says in that.
I
book.
think gasoline was 6 cents or something.
Yes, yeah.
Doesn't make sense, hein?
Non,
You
ça
know,
make sense.
6 piastres.
Yes.
Tu mal aux genoux, toi et tout?
Ah ben, il y a toutes sortes d'affaires qui ne marchent pas là.
Les genoux, ça
Les
va
genoux,
vite, ça.
les-
Les deux genoux, là, moi, sont bons
Yeah.
bien. J'aurais
Ouais.
dû fait opérer ça des années passées.
Ouais.
Trop vieille, c'était.
Enfin,
I still go good up my ramp, without the walker.
ouais.
I got the ramp to hold on to.
Yeah.
But there are always girls, Mickey and Susan's always watching me. When we go somewhere, they gotta walk with me. But I go get my mail. When Roger Fournier don't bring it in, I run before he comes. Roger's very good for me, Roger Fournier.
You know, I went to school with Roger.
Really?
Yeah.
And
we-
Norman?
Classmates, Roger. We went to St. Francis in Biddeford.
Really?
Yeah. I knew him over there.
Uh-huh. Were you born in Bedford?
No, St.
No.
Agathe.
Because my son was born in Bedford
Oh yeah.
during World War II, yeah. Yeah,
So,
we went through a lot since then.
Oh yeah, and it's that's a nice picture there. Is that?
That's a picture of me and my husband. I was 20 years old there
Oh,
when he was drafted.
You still look good.
Well,
C'est vrai qu'elle était belle, hein? Elle était encore
oh,
belle.
oui, t'es bien certain.
Holy jeez. So that was about, you were about 20 then?
oh, yes, because that was in 42.
Okay.
And he went in the service in 42 and he came out in 45. 44.
Now, Laura, did you always live in Wallagrass?
No, I I was born in Caribou. When my mother, she had 7 kids. 2 was married, and 3 was, the oldest was 10 and the baby was 15 months. She passed away from a stroke. So they brought me to Eagle Lake to live with my grandmother, and I never left Eagle Lake. We moved back to Caribou for a while, but my dad got remarried and he moved to Eagle Lake. He was from Eagle Lake, my dad. So we stayed there till I got married and moved to Wallagrass, which I stayed here since then.
Now, what were your parents' names?
Was Francis Saucier.
And he was from Eagle Lake.
He was from Saint Agathe.
Oh, he was from Saint Agathe.
And my mother too, that's where they got married. She was a Fournier, my mother, Sophie Fournier.
So they were both from Saint Agathe.
Yes, from what I understood, I looked that up, and they got married there, and then they moved to Caribou, and he worked there, and so the family was separated after my mother died, but we all got back together after he remarried.
How old was she when she died?
She was only 52 years old.
Is that right?
She was.
I was born in 22 and she died in 26. And my sister was younger than me.
Now you said they had 7 children.
We had 7. 2 was married and 5 was at home.
What were their names? What was the oldest?
The oldest was Agnes Bishop. She was a Saucier, but she married a bishop. And the other one was Yvonne Dustu. She lived in Eagle Lake. And the oldest one there was Loretta. She married a Gagnon in Fort Fairfield. And there was the twins, Patrick and Aldrich. They're gone now too. And then there was me, and then was Rose, my sister.
So you're the one before the last.
Yes, but there was 2 boys after my father remarried. So we were 13 in the family.
You were 13.
We lost a set of twins and a little girl.
Now, I'm assuming if there were 7 of you originally, and you're the one before the last, are you the only one left out of the 7?
Yes, we're the only one left out of the whole family.
Out of the whole family?
Yeah, I counted them the other day. My sister and their husband, and my dad and mom and grandpa and grandma, and there were 26 that died. And I'm the only one left. So God must have something to do with that.
You know, you sound like my wife.
Yeah?
She has no more relatives at all. No cousins or family. They all passed away before her.
Yeah.
Her brothers, one of them was 49. The other one was 60.
Yeah. Well, see, my son, I lost my son. He was only 63.
Yeah.
So that your dad, after your mother died,
yes,
he remarried.
He remarried a woman. It was a girl, and she had a girl. She had a little girl.
What was her name?
Marie Thibault.
Right.
Do you remember Father Thibault we used to have in Eagle Lake? Maybe that's a long time ago. I was young then.
Oh, okay, no.
And
I remember Thibodeau.
Yeah, Father Thibodeau.
Yeah.
You know, his 2 sisters were married to my brothers.
Oh, is that right?
Yes. Yeah. What do you call that? Joanne and Rachel. married to my brothers.
Do you still go to church in Eagle Lake?
Yes. Yeah.
Pris, my wife, she remembers you a lot.
Yeah, I used to talk to her every time I see her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
but I haven't been going this winter, but I started going.
yeah.
But it's hard for me to go in and sit down for an hour. And,
Yeah.
but I get up, but I don't kneel down. I can't with my knees.
No.
I got those big bones sticking out. See,
That's
the ligaments are all gone. They've rubbed bone to bone. So doctor, that new one there, doctor, is a bone doctor. The new doctor there.
Yeah.
He's got a fun almond, something like that. He's
Oh,
good.
yes, yes, yes.
He gave me a shot in the knee with gel. It didn't help. So I didn't go back. When they don't help, I don't go back.
Well, you know,
They can't make bones.
No,
they can't make the bones work.
they
Can maybe he held a little bit, but
So after when he got remarried, did she have children before? When your dad got remarried,
she had a girl.
she had a girl.
Yeah.
And then they had,
She was the same age as the twins, 7 years old.
and
so,
then she,
so that was 7, 8. She started taking care of 8 kids, that woman. And she was a lot younger than Dad. Because she had a girl of 7.
She had a girl of 7.
Yeah. And she was a good stepmother.
so then they had they had 5 more children after that.
Yes, they had a set of twin and a little girl and those 2 boys.
And 2
Those
boys.
2 boys are gone too now. Most of them are all gone with cancer.
is that right?
Well, Dad had cancer. And my sisters all died of stroke, like my mother. That's funny, huh?
Yeah, it
How
runs
it
in the
works.
family.
I don't know which way I'll go, me.
Yeah.
I hope I go sitting in my chariot.
Well, you're not ready to go.
No, and they were asking me, why don't I go to a nursing home, assisted living? I said, why should I go there? I'll have to get up, wash, dress myself, watch TV all day. I can do that in my place here, and it don't cost me nothing. Who wants to go into a place like that?
Right. I know.
You go if you have to. When the time comes, I'll go, but not now.
Yeah, you hold on to your house or your home as long as you can.
As long as I can. It's just a mobile home, but it's mine.
It's home.
Paid for.
It's home.
And it don't cost me. I don't even hardly pay tax here because I'm a spouse of a veteran.
Oh,
So I pay. I hate to say it. I pay $10 a year.
holy jeez.
Yeah, it's a good
Yeah.
deal.
So I don't pay a lot of electricity. We all pay a lot of electricity.
Yeah.
And the oil is high, but it costs a lot to. They take all my check if I go into an assisted living.
Yeah.
And I'm enjoying myself here.
Yeah.
I still go to bingo. That's nice.
You go to bingo in Fort Kent?
Yeah, senior citizen. I used to go to KC, but I have a hard time with their ramp.
Yeah.
So there's a hill that
yeah,
goes
yeah,
up
yeah.
to their ramp there.
Yeah.
And last time I nearly fell. So I figured 2. I go there and I go to senior citizen Eagle Lake on Monday. We play for what we pay.
Okay.
We don't make money, but
Right. But it's still fun.
I made $4 this year.
Oh.
Cost me 6. Now I made 4.
Now, what did your dad do for a living?
Well, when we were in Caribou, from what I heard, he was working on the where they were making a dam. He was working there because I remember enough that when I used to go bring his lunch with my twin brothers, there was swings there. It was a kind of a park, and we used to swing. That's all I remember. I was young, maybe 4 years old there.
Because I wonder if it's the same dam that exists today. There's that electrical dam in Caribou. You know, when you go between Caribou and Presque Isle.
That's where he was working.
That's where the dam is. Yeah.
That's the Aroostook River?
It's Aroostook River.
Yeah.
Yep.
He was working on that. But when he came to Eagle Lake, well, there was hardly any work. I remember there was no work, really. The men, most of us were living on welfare because there was no work. We went through World War II there. Well, that was hard on the town. And my father had a horse, and he would go and cut wood for the poor people in town, which now they give them wood or oil. Huh? Well, he would cut wood and bring it down at the length, and then they would cut them themselves, and the town would pay him. That's how we lived.
That's how you lived.
Yeah, that was
And in the
different.
fall, we'd make a few pennies picking potatoes with the family.
Yep.
There was a little bit of help there for the winter.
Now, did you go to school in Caribou? You know,
No, I went to school in Eagle Lake
you were in Eagle Lake.
at the convent. They
So,
tore it down now.
so how old were you when you moved to Eagle Lake? I mean, you were young.
When my mom died, I was going to be 4 years old.
Yeah.
And I moved to Eagle Lake and stayed a year with my grandmother.
Who was your grandmother?
My grandmother was Victoria Corbin. She was married to my grandfather, Francis Saucier.
So then you went to school in
Eagle Lake.
Eagle Lake.
Yeah, and I only went to the 7th grade because I thought I was smarter than the teachers, you know. But I couldn't. At 16, you could quit school. And I quit to go work in the wood with the family from Eagle Lake. They had 2 kids. They would take a job there.
Yeah.
And they had men, maybe sometimes 20 men. And T.S. Pinkham had hired me to go a cookie, to help the cook. Peel the potatoes, wash the floor, clean the tables, and take care of the kids, and wash the clothes, get water from the brook. I was working there. That was a big lot of money, $1.25 an hour. I thought I was rich. That was a lot of money that day.
Yes, $1.20. Because what year was this roughly? This
Oh
was,
my God! Well, I was maybe 16 years old. That was figure that out from 1922 to 16 years.
Before the war.
About yes.
Oh
before-
yes.
Yeah,
oh, yes.
1938.
I was a lot before I was married. I was maybe 16.
Yeah.
We'd go up in the spring and stay there. The 4th of July, we'd come down for 3 days.
So where did
We'd
you
go
go?
back up and come back up for the potatoes.
Now, when you said you went out, where was the camp?
Oh, it was in Ashland, way up in the wood.
Way out in the woods in
Yeah.
Ashland.
In Ashland.
Now,
We
how
go
did,
there with horses.
I was going to say, how did you get there? But
Horses.
With horses.
And there was so big mud holes, we had to get off of the wagon and walk around in the wood till the horse go by there.
Well, especially in the spring when there's a lot of water.
April, yeah, we'd go up in April.
You'd go up in April and spend the summer there.
Huh?
You'd spend the whole summer at the camp.
Yes, I go down for 3 days at the 4th of July with the family there. And we'd spend that money we collected from April to July. And then we'd go back up. That money would go to mom and dad, you know. Because I didn't have no use to spend money. I'd buy myself some clothes. And then we'd go back up. And in the fall, well, Dad wanted me to go pick potatoes. So we'd come down. And then they were all done cutting. They wouldn't cut in the winter.
Okay. And so
I did that 2 years.
You did that 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of money at the time, and that was for Tom Pinkham,
yes,
right?
because I was working for nothing in Eagle Lake, cleaning for Tucker there. You remember Milton Tucker?
No.
No, he had a store there, and I would work for them, cleaning the shelves. You know, maybe 50 cents an hour.
Yeah.
Dr. Kirk, I worked for Dr. Kirk. Work all around town. I was the jack of all trades.
Dr. Kirk was there a long time. Yeah.
Oh yes, he crucified me quite a few times. You know. Pulled my teeth out, and cut my top of my head. He was rough.
He was a rough guy.
I think he was a German, huh?
Yeah. And,
But he was nice for the poor people, though. Yeah.
Didn't he go away in the winter and come back just in the summer?
Yeah. Well, his father would replace him in in the winter.
His father.
He'd go to Florida like the people go today there.
Oh, yeah.
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 I went to see him one time, and I knew he was rough.
He had pulled one of my teeth in the back, and Dad had given me $1 to pay for my teeth. So between him and his father, they didn't numb our teeth in those days.
Holy
They pulled my teeth out, and of course I was spitting blood. I was about 10 years old, spitting blood all over the place. And so I got out of there and I went home. I didn't give him my $1. So I went to the store and bought myself some candy.
Oh.
He got home. He met my dad a few days later. He said, "You know your daughter didn't pay for her teeth." He said, "Well, I gave her $1." He said, "That's where that candy was coming from." "Why should I give him my $1? He hurt me."
Oh, they would not numb your...
No. They wouldn't
Hey,
numb the
boys,
teeth.
that's a...
And it was a big tooth in the
Ouais.
yeah.
Dans la sagesse qu'ils appellent.
And then sagesse, yeah.
Ouais.
Wisdom tooth.
Wisdom tooth.
Yeah. Je t'ai dit, moi, qu'on arrachait à ce temps-là. C'était pas mal dur dans le temps des galettes.
Well, I know my father went to an Allagash one whole winter, you know, and he earned $410.
Yeah, well,
And when he got back to Santa Gata, he gave his father $400 and he kept 10. So you worked for the family when you were a kid.
if I'm not mistaken, I think I was getting was $5 a week or $1 a day for pinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't much,
No.
but I did a lot of cleaning for people for 75 cents an hour.
Yeah.
Wallpaper, paint. That's noisy, huh? Want to close the door? Oh, the cars go by here. It's so noisy.
Il y a gros trafic, puis c'est
Yo,
pas,
il y a assez de trafic, je suis ici.
c'est pas loin tout, hein? Ça passe
Non,
pas.
c'est pas loin.
Non,
puis
c'est-
je suis haute, mais là, puis c'est toute une noise. Là.
Ouais,
Je
ouais.
sais accoutumé à ça, ça me bat.
Oh, non, non, on
Mais
l'attend
ma
pas.
fille vient ici, elle peut pas dormir le matin. C'est le boy, c'est noisy, elle dit, maman.
Fait que c'est dans 1938. Puis là c'était juste avant la guerre. Quand est-ce que vous avez rencontré votre homme?
Hein?
Quand est-ce que vous avez rencontré votre
Ben,
votre
j'ai
homme?
rencontré là, ce que j'étais cookie, là. Dans
Ah,
le bois.
il travaillait dans le
Il
bois.
travaillait pour Pinkham, il coupait du poulpe.
Ah, oui.
Et puis il venait au camp, puis il se ramassait un crew de gars, là. Ben, j'étais la seule fille qu'il y avait là, 16 years old. Là.
Eh, mon...
Puis il venait, là, puis il descendait au dépôt, là, puis il m'emmenait du chocolat, de la bubble gum. C'est quoi, ça?
Oh
Tu sais,
oui, bien, non.
J'ai rencontré mon mari là, mais je suis pas sorti avec. Mais après ça, j'ai emmené Lake, là, puis il commençait à venir, il restait à Watergrass. Il commençait à venir là, puis je l'ai rencontré là. On était à Carnaval, il y avait une petite Carnaval, là, puis j'ai ridé les Ferris wheel avec lui.
Oh!
That's how it started. So we went out a year, and then we got married just before he was drafted.
Mais lui, il s'appelait comment?
Thomas Saucier.
Il s'appelait Thomas Saucier.
Yeah.
Puis il venait-tu de Watergrass? Eagle
Il
Lake?
venait de Watergrass.
Il venait de
Et
Watergrass et
puis,
tout.
moi, j'étais une Saucier et tout. So, peut-être pensaient qu'on était parents, mais on n'était pas parents.
Ah!
Quand même, nos grands-pères étaient parents, mais
Ouais,
pas
ouais,
nous
ouais.
autres.
Ouais, ouais, c'était pas proche.
Non.
C'était pas proche.
Non.
Fait dans quelle année vous avez marié?
On s'est mariés dans 42.
Ouh, la guerre a commencé.
Ouais. On s'est mariés dans 42, dans le champ.
You were 20 years old.
I was 20 years old, yeah. I was 19, really.
Yeah, you hadn't turned 20 yet.
42.
Wait,
Yeah. I turned 22 in that October
yes.
that I was married. And then we went to Biddeford.
After you got married.
Because my husband went to work in the Pratt and Whitney, but an aircraft at Portland. So we thought he would have to go
Yeah.
because I was pregnant at that time. And we thought, well, since I was pregnant and he was working for an airplane factory for the government, but no, he was drafted and he had to go. So they brought down his departure from August because we knew that the baby would be born in October. So they left him stay till the baby was born. He was born the 10th. He left the 25th
Oh,
of September. So the first time he came, it was 6 months in training.
Yeah.
Well, he came, and of course, when he left me with a baby girl. When he came back, he had another baby of 6 months. So when I tell them my husband is in the service and I had another baby, well, it kind of looked funny, but he came on the furlough. And when he came back, she was 6 months old, but he was discharged in a medical discharge. He was in the medical corps.
Yeah.
He saw so much on the battlefield, you know. He had kind of a nervous breakdown, and he never came good out of that. He worked, came back home, he was all right, but he lived quite a few years. We were married 45 years.
So he left in 1942
Yeah,
to go into the military. Or you got married what year?
41.
In 41.
Yeah,
And then
and he left in 42. And
He
Tom
left in
was born
42.
in 42.
Yeah.
My son,
and your son's name was?
Thomas Jr.
Thomas Jr.
On l'appelait Stone.
Stum.
Yeah,
dumb.
yeah. His picture's up there.
Did your husband talk about, you say it was rough?
He
job in
never
the
wanted
military.
to talk much about
But
that.
what's on?
But
No.
he was in the hospital, and they had taken the Ream General Hospital in Florida, the big hospital there, for the Army and the Navy, and they would bring them back from overseas. And he was in there, and of course, we didn't fly those days. We didn't have the money to fly. I couldn't go see him. I couldn't call him. We didn't have the telephone. So for 6 months, he was in the hospital in Florida, and then they gave him a discharge.
So he spent all his time in the U.S. in Florida,
Yeah,
and he was there. See, he was in the service for
Yeah.
6 months,
yeah. And I couldn't go see him.
and you could not.
Today, I would fly right away, go
Yeah.
see him. But those days, no. I had to go next door to call. The only one who had a phone and placed it here, Watergrass, it was Dick Laferriere. You remember him?
No?
He was a barber here and placed it.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
No.
and the only one that had a phone, and we always use his phone. But I was good with her. I would help her out. She was an old lady and him an old man, and he was a barber. And when I had a call, they had somebody come over and tell me I had a call. I had to go over there and answer the call. But the first time I had a phone is when I moved there. That was in, the trailer was, we bought that in 1970. That's a 70.
The trailer you
We bought it brand new.
brand new in 1970.
Yeah. And we had a phone put in. But we were in Fort Fairfield 3 years. I was working for Valsing, French fry factory.
Oh, yeah.
And I worked there 3 years. And then I had a job if I wanted to go to work at Loring Air Force Base in Limestone.
Limestone.
And the wages was better and I liked the work better.
Wow.
So I went there for 2 years. We were in Caribou for 5 years. Then we came back to Watergrass.
Well, okay, so he got out of the service he went in 1942
He came out in 1944.
in 1944 he came out.
Yeah,
Then where were you living at the time?
in Watergrass.
You were in Wallagrass.
And we lived there a long time before the kids were all grown up when we went to. What happened, he was disabled, but he could do little jobs. So they had put him to rake the tops of the potatoes, you know, when that's left on the field, and they burned them. Well, he had a job for my brother-in-law. He was raking that. And I was working at Loring Air Force Base at that time. But he couldn't do anything anymore, so we moved here. And I worked for the LeBeuf for years.
Is that right?
Yeah, I was working, taking care of him and Melda.
Did they have a store in Plaisted?
They had a store, yeah.
They had
Letus.
Okay.
Letus LeBeuf had a store there. But I was working for Florent and Imelda,
Okay.
and then Florent passed away, and I couldn't work there anymore because I had to take care of my husband. He was real sick. He had surgery on his throat, and so I quit, and I took care of my husband, and then they had to put Imelda in the nursing home. So I did all kinds of work, I'm telling you. I work in the bowling factory in Eagle Lake.
Oh, is that right?
Oh yes, I worked on those bowling pins.
So what years were that they made bowling
Oh my
pins?
God.
I
The
never
kids-
saw that.
The kids were still home when I was working there. They were in school. They were in high school.
So the pins are made out of wood,
Yeah, hardwood.
and then
Maple.
they changed and they started making them in plastic
they-
or something.
No, they stopped making them and they went into coat hangers
Yes.
Oh,
and
okay.
furniture parts, I think. But I didn't work there when they were making furniture. They closed when I was working there. I was the last one to work. They told me I would get paid if I stay and clean all the rest of the bowling pin. We had to dip them twice, in paint and then in clear.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, clear.
And then
bond.
we had to
Yeah.
put those stripes around. We had to put the maple leaf on it. We had to put the ring underneath it. I did all that. I put it on the gluer. It took 6 pieces of wood to make a bowling pin.
Oh yeah.
6 pieces of wood.
Is that right?
2 long ones, 2 middle one, and 2 little one. Make it round.
Now there were candle pins, right? I mean, there are different types of pins. I think in
I
bowling.
don't know. And all I know is they were
Were
bowling.
they the ones that kind of get fat in the middle?
Yeah, and then they go on the thing there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were shipping them, and they would ship them back because they were coming apart. They were not glued good, so they lost so much money that they went out. They couldn't do it anymore.
You say there was a maple leaf on the.
Maple leaf on the.
Were they shipped to Canada? Is that why?
No, it wasn't maple leaf. Is that Canada?
Yeah, maple leaf. Usually.
Yeah,
Canada.
there was a maple leaf on it.
Yeah.
There is one. Where is it? I saw that one. Eagle Lake thing in the senior citizen. There's one on the shelf there.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
And I had one, but I don't know what happened. The kids got it somewhere. I had a big one, and we used to make little ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that mill was. I remember the coat hanger mill.
Yeah,
That was in the
after
early 70s. That was in the early 1970s or late 60s, early 70s. So the bowling pins were earlier than that, right?
Oh yes, because I was living in my old house down below here. That was before 1970.
Yeah.
The kids were going to school anyway. I had a young kid. He'd come home and stay with them until I came back from work.
Well, you haven't talked about your kids yet. I mean, you had
3 kids.
so you had 3 kids.
Yeah, I had 2 girls and 1 boy.
And what are their names in what order?
Well, Tom Jr.
Tom Jr.
And there was Norma Saucier. She married Roger Saucier from Eagle Lake. They live in Eagle Lake. They got a camp. If you ride on the lake, you must see their camp. It's about, where Phil LeBeouf has got a house?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, on this side is a big camp with a big garage there. It's a beautiful place. And then my other daughter, she lives in Noblesboro. That's on the other side of Augusta.
Okay. And what's
She married to Dennis Labby. You must have went to the hospital for something when he was running the X-ray machine there. Dennis Labby.
No,
He was short and he had a beard.
Oh yeah.
So
I
they lived
never
there.
knew him.
so now Tom was he was the oldest.
Yeah.
Now did he marry?
Yes, he went in the Navy 4 years.
Okay.
And then he came back and he married a little girl from Eagle Lake. She was living in Prescott at the time. And they had 3 kids. And then he passed away to cancer.
And old.
I gave him my camp when he retired there. So I couldn't take care of that camp anymore because Tom was gone and it was too much for me.
So
And then I had a little camp down below here, right near the piers there.
Okay.
Before you go to, what was it? The cop who had a camp there.
Duty?
Duty.
Yeah.
He went right by my camp. And every time he'd go by, was cutting the grass, he'd stop and talk to me.
Yeah, over by the.
It's
Yeah.
almost on the Fish River. You know?
Yes,
Yeah,
it is. It's
yeah,
on the
that-
pier.
There's just two. There's another camp besides me on that side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, just a little camp, but we enjoyed it so much.
I remember when you were talking about potato picking, where everybody would stop, and that's what everybody did.
Oh yes, that was in September. That was potato time. Soon school was out, we'd go potatoes.
Yeah.
We picked me sometime. I even picked in the snow.
Yeah.
In October. We were all done, and the farmer next door came over and asked us we'd go and finish his field. He had a bunch of Indians who were picking for him, and they didn't want to pick in the snow. So the Frenchman went over and finished it.
Who was the farmer's name?
It was the Reed's brother from Fort Fairfield.
Oh, yeah.
The Reed's
yeah.
brother.
Uh,
We picked potatoes for them.
one of those was governor.
Governor Reed.
Yeah,
That's
Governor
right.
Reed. Yeah.
Governor Reed.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
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 And we picked potatoes there and then when I couldn't pick anymore, they put me collecting the tickets. Because they were losing a lot of tickets. The men they would grab a barrel with those grip,
Why?
and they would knock the ticket and they wouldn't stop to pick it. So the pickers, they were losing barrels, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they hired me, and I had the same wages as the men that work on the truck.
Oh,
And I didn't have to pick potatoes.
Yeah.
So I'd follow the truck, and I had a bag and put my tickets in it. When I had a load, I'd put elastic around it, mark 40 on it, and at night would be easier to count them. And I was paying. The men were kind of jealous because I was having the same wages as them.
You know, I always felt that maybe people got cheated out of a barrel. You put a ticket on it, and who knows where it went.
Well, a lot of people could go by and pick up the ticket,
Yeah.
and it could fall in the wind.
oh yeah.
Yeah, I know that was, but the other way, they were loading and they would say, how many you had? 4. They would put 4.
Oh.
That's the way they were doing it in the old days. But as that, they started tickets.
They had the
And
ticket.
at night, we had to count those tickets.
Yeah, I know. So this was you weren't married yet when you were picking potatoes.
Oh, no. I picked after I was married, though.
You did, yeah.
I picked till September, and my daughter was born in January. Tom was in the service. I was picking with my father. I had my little Tom there, and I was pregnant for Norma, and she was born January 1st. So in September, I was pretty big, and I had hard time to bend over, I'm telling you. There was a colored guy who was watching me, and he said, if you were my wife, I wouldn't let you pick potatoes. Well, I said, if you were in the service, you wouldn't have any choice.
Yeah.
Well, he said, I wouldn't let you pick potatoes. And he would empty my basket. He would set my barrels up. And he was good, though. He was a colored guy working for the farmer.
Now when you mentioned Reed,
The Reed-
and we were talking about the Reed farm, the farmer,
Yeah.
did you go there as a family? Because the Reeds were in Fort Fairfield, right?
Yeah, we'd went there.
So you'd leave Wallagrass,
with
then-
everything on a truck.
and you'd move to.
We move everything there. Bring our mattress and everything. We'd live in those long shacks they would keep us for the pickers. And we'd move there with the family. And after that, we'd pack again, come back home. Sometimes we'd pick 4 or 5 weeks.
So
The whole family would go.
the whole family would
Yeah,
go.
and then when I was married, I'd do the same thing. But Tom was working at the mill in Eagle Lake where they were sawing the wood. Remember the Eagle Lake? There was a mill, and they were sawing the wood to make the bowling pin.
Okay.
Well, he would take a log, and he would know just how many pieces of wood he could do in that. He was a rotary sawyer, and he couldn't go to the potatoes, but I would go with my 3 kids. And there's a guy, one from Fort Kent, Romeo Paradis' wife, Verna, would come with her 2 kids. And there was a family from St. Francis, the Thibodeaux. They had, I think, 7 kids. We had a shack that was long and it was separated in 3. We all had each our parts there. We lived there, just the women and their kids. The husband were working.
Hey.
Yeah.
So while when you went to the Reed farms, you had these 3 families, these 3. Did all of you pick, or were the women stay behind and take care of?
Oh no, the women picked with their kids.
Now, how did you manage food?
We'd go home and cook after that. And once in a while, we'd leave one of the kids to put the potatoes on. She'd go home a little earlier. I'd send her home, and I'd take care of her section, and she would go and cook the potatoes. So we would be, when I'd come home, I just had the meat to cook.
So you had 3 kids at the time.
Yeah.
Now, what were their names?
Norma, Tom, and Charlene.
And Charlene. Charlene is the youngest.
It was the baby, yeah.
She was the baby.
And she didn't like to pick her. She liked to stay in the house and clean. So once in a while, I'd say, "You can stay here today." She'd sit near a barrel and cry, "I hate those potatoes." But the other one was smart. She would pick 50, 60 barrels a day. And Tom, she would beat my son every time. She was a big picker.
So some people enjoyed picking potatoes.
Yeah, me and my husband, we picked potatoes at 200 barrels a day.
That's a lot.
Yeah, we picked for Silvio Fournier here.
Oh, yeah.
It was 4 couples, and it was the one who was going to pick the most.
Yeah.
And he would dig. I'm telling you, he would dig. He'd come and move our section stick, give us more sections. And at night, that was who was going to pick the most. And they had our time to beat us, me and Tom. Tom was a big picker. He'd pick on his knees.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And you didn't?
No.
You bent over?
I'd bend over. And he'd set the barrel and I'd fill them. And he'd set the barrel and I'd fill them. It would take 4 baskets to fill a barrel. But we'd pick, 1 year we didn't go out. We picked for Silvio.
Okay, so this is after you're married now, and
yes, it was. The kids were all brought up at that time.
Yeah,
we were still picking potatoes.
Now you mentioned the 3 though: Tom,
Norma,
and Tom, and Charlene.
Yeah.
What were their ages? How many years between each? Who's the oldest? Is Tom.
Tom, and 15 months later was Norma.
Yeah.
And then 2 years was Charlene.
Oh, so they're pretty all
so
about
Tom,
this.
Charlene was born 2 years after Tom came out of the service.
So they were pretty much the same age.
They were pretty close, yes.
Pretty close, yeah.
And that was hard, living in a house with no electricity, no water.
Oh, and that at the Reed farm?
Over here, that old house there.
Now, where was the house?
It was in the old road. That used to be the main highway.
Oh, yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
And then they cut it off, and there's the people from Fort Kent who bought my house there. I don't know who it is.
Yeah, I remember that. Then they went close to the...
Yeah, back to the highway.
Lake, yeah.
They right here on top, you swing, and you go around, you get back the highway.
Yeah.
We were on a side road.
Now where the mill, there was a mill down there, right?
That was on the highway, yeah.
It was on the highway.
That's off the highway too. And placed it there. You leave the highway, you go near the lake there.
Yes, you do. Right.
That guy the rich guy who bought that place there, built a big building there, what you call it?
Kent? No.
He married Bébé Fournier's daughter there.
Now they have
He's got money anyway.
Yeah.
Well, he owns the garage in Fort Kent.
Well, yeah.
Ford Garage or Chevet. One of those garage. What's their name?
Oh, what do you call it?
The one who owns it.
Thériault. C'est pas ça, parce
No, it's not Thériault.
Non, c'est pas Thériault.
Non.
Là, c'est Pelletier, c'est eux.
C'est Pelletier. Oh! Ben oui.
Pelletier.
Jim Pelletier.
Yes.
Oh, c'est le garçon Jim?
Steve.
He bought that place and placed it a little trailer, and he took that out and he built a big camp.
Yeah.
And he built a big building, and he's going to own that whole place,
Yeah. Point.
Yes. He wants to buy that woman who's got a little trailer on the end there.
Yeah.
She's a widow. And she said if she sells it, they will be the first on it.
Right.
Yeah, that's off of the highway. Going
Yes,
north.
yes, yes.
That's a beautiful place, huh?
It used to be the highway, but
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
swing it out.
Now, but your house was not in that
No,
curve.
it was on not far from here.
Not for,
Yeah, and in those days, well, we were not the only one.
Yeah.
Everybody didn't have no electricity, and we had. I don't know how we did it, but
do you remember that when you got electricity in your house?
yes. After my husband came out of the service, it
Yeah.
must have been in
1944.
1944, 45.
Right.
We had a neighbor had electricity, so he ran a wire from his house to my house. We only have the lights,
Oh yeah.
so we liked it. So my husband said, well, we're going to put electricity in the house here. So we hired a guy, came over and he put plugs, and we had electricity. That was 1945, I think.
That must have been something, huh?
Oh,
Yeah. Do you?
and then
yeah.
when he washed the first washing machine, I hadn't put my name in Spiegel, Montgomery Ward, Searbuck for washing machine. I was washing with a scrubber. So when I got a call from Soldier Pond, that station, that there was a washing machine there, holy, Tom got in the truck and he went and get it right away. And I washed for 3 days. Washed all the thing. My mother-in-law was looking at me and say, geez, you're lucky. You're lucky. I said, well, I'm lucky, but we paid for it. We paid, there was a lot of money in those days. Oh God, we took a lot of money to pay for that washing machine.
Yeah. Do you remember what it cost roughly?
About $70.
$70.
Yeah.
And this, did you get it from Spiegel or?
I got it from Spiegel.
From Spiegel.
Yeah. And there was 3. My 2 neighbors each had one. Tom brought the 3 of them. But the first one, I got it, and there was 2 more that came in, and they called us, and Tom went to get them for them because he didn't have no cars. Tom had an old truck.
Can you imagine that?
And imagine the washer and the wringer, that we didn't have to go like this, we'd put that in, but we still had to hang outside.
Yeah.
In the winter, it would freeze.
Didn't have any dryers.
No, I only had a dryer and a washing machine when I came here. Automatic.
Yeah.
You know, my father sold building material in Santa Fe. And in the 40s, late 40s. He would order a bunch of washers or refrigerators, and he wouldn't even bring them in the store. People were lined up to, as soon as they got in the yard, they'd take it.
Of course, yeah.
Holy mackerel.
Just like a fridge, we didn't have no place to put our food.
Yeah.
We'd have, so my neighbor was moving. He was going to take care of her uncle, so he gave her the house. So she was emptying her house. She said, I said, oh, maybe she would sell me her fridge. So I asked her, she said, sure. $50. I got the 50 or 25, I think, 25. I got a nice fridge. It was blue. It was blue. And boy, we had ice cube. We could put ice cream in it. And boy, we were rich there. Holy God.
I remember my mother made her own ice cream. You know, there must have been something she bought.
We used to make some with the snow.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. But my grandmother used to have, maybe you don't remember that, you're too young for that. She had the cremeuse, they call that.
Yeah.
It was a thing you put milk in, and there's a little window, and in the window it shows how much cream there is on top.
Yeah.
She would go and take the cream off and make some butter with that. And we would drink the skim milk. But sometime we'd go, she had that in the well, on a rope. We'd pull it up, and we'd take a spoon and we'd eat some ice cream, put it back there. And my grandmother said, I don't know, I don't have as much cream as I used to have. My sister and me would take ice cream. We liked that cream, it was good. Yeah, we'd drink the skim milk and she would make butter with the cream.
Yeah.
She had a cow. And I learned how to milk a cow there. She would make me sit on a little stool there, and I had put Vaseline on my hand, and I'd milk the cow. Grandmother showed me how to do that.
That was your mother or
My grandmother.
your grandmother?
Yeah, well, we moved next to her.
Ah, you were living, okay.
She gave us an old barn. My father took it all apart with my two brothers, and he built a little house in Eagle Lake next to my grandmother. She gave him a piece of land. So we were close, and I was over to my grandmother more than I was at my place. And she was very good for us, my grandmother.
Well, it sounds like your grandmother was very good for you.
She was, yeah. She
You
was.
know, after your mom died,
Yeah.
you moved in with her, and
My grandfather made me a swing, and they were good. They were good
Yeah.
parents.
yeah.
And when she died, she came to live with us. But she didn't get along with my stepmother. She didn't like my stepmother. That was her son's wife there, and she didn't like her. And because I think maybe they took me away from her, maybe, after they got married. And she wanted to keep me.
Yeah.
They should have left me there. Really. Because they had enough kids, and my grandmother didn't have any. So we went through a hell of a lot of stuff.
So did you, besides potato picking, did you work anywheres after, I mean, during your...
Well, I work at the nursing home in Eagle Lake.
You worked at the nursing home in Eagle Lake.
Well, during, I think it was during, was not the war, what do you call that, when it was a hard time there. After World War II there was a time there during Roosevelt, I think. They had made a place for the women to go work, like a sewing place, sewing project.
Yeah.
And my mother couldn't go work there because she had too many kids. So they took me and they made me work with the nuns at the hospital. And my wages would go to the family. I worked 2.5 days a week. And the other 2.5 days a week I work in a restaurant for my uncle. He had a restaurant and a little place to dance there. And I worked there in the restaurant. So I worked 5 days a week. Besides Saturday, sometimes I took care of women who had babies, worked for women who had babies. And I worked all my life.
Well, what year was this, roughly? What years did you work there at the
nursing home?
Yeah.
Oh, I was...
How old were you?
Maybe 16, 15 years old.
Oh, yeah. So you were still... Okay. This is the early
I was
years.
working in the kitchen with the nuns.
Yeah.
And we work in the garden because they were all canning their stuff at those days. We worked in the canning room. Talk about the thing. They had boilers and big gas stove. And we'd pick up the string beans and clean them. And that's where I learned how to can. I can can anything I want. I can chicken. We used canned chicken.
Everybody had the canning in their basement.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember Furlong in Eagle Lake. I went to visit Mrs. Furlong in Eagle Lake.
Yeah.
She took me downstairs and she had a place where she used can. She had a stove and a boiler and all that there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me, I got a gas stove in the shed. And my daughter loves canned chicken. So she would watch and buy canned chicken.
Yep.
And sometimes we can 15, 16 quarts of chicken. It's the best thing you can eat is a canned chicken.
Is
Yeah.
that right?
Yes, because it's pure. You know what you're eating. What I do, we cut them all pieces and put them in jars. And then I put chicken broth and I put a little bit of salt. And then we steam them. If I cook my chicken first, I steam 30 minutes. If I cook it raw, it got to go 3 hours.
So you still do this?
Oh, yes, I did it 2 weeks ago. We canned 12 quarts.
Now, which daughter was this?
Norma.
Oh, Norma. She comes
yeah, she's learning how to do it there.
She's good
she
for
helped
her.
me this time.
Is it more tender, the chicken?
Oh, yes, it's tender and juicy.
Yeah.
And she loves the breast, and I love the
the
thighs.
dark meat. Yeah.
So we put 2 kinds of it. You take a chicken stew with that, and it's the best thing you can eat.
Is that something?
Yeah.
It is.
I wish I'd had some spare ones. I'd give you each one.
Oh,
I have one that they left me in case I had company. I take it out the juice off, and I grind the meat, and I put some celery in it or onions, and I make sandwich with that.
Yeah.
Makes good sandwich.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
So your husband died in what year? What year did he?
He died in 54, I think.
54.
Yeah.
And then what happened? Okay, and you were in the old house at the time.
Right here.
Oh, you were here.
Oh, yes.
So he was here in this house.
Is it 54? Sometime I forget. I got my things here.
Because
How old was he?
He was 67.
It's probably later than 54, huh?
yeah. Well, if he was here, because you bought this place in 1970.
Yes. I bought that one in 70. I got all my things here. I got his obituary. Got my son's obituary. I think it's in 54. I get mixed up, a little bit. Right here, I think. Thomas Saucier, 1984.
In 1984.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
67 though.
Yeah.
84. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
So then you were alone, and the kids were grown up,
Yes.
and you've been staying here since
Staying here all my life.
all your life.
Yeah. I guess that's where I'm going to go right here. I had something I wanted to show you. Autograph. Oldest lady.
96, who's that?
It's
That's you?
I was 96, yeah.
Yeah.
I got this one. They celebrated Mother's Day. I was 99. They got pictures of that too. But I wanted one. I had saved one that I wanted to show you. Oh, it's that. He used to take pictures.
Yes.
Yeah.
He came to the bingo in Fort Kent. He took my picture. It's kind of light though.
Oh, yeah.
I was and Mrs. Priscilla, what's her name? Plud. Christy
Oh,
Plud
Chrissy Blood.
was reading my bingo
Oh, yeah,
card.
yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I had a picture of my son here. A nice picture. Oh, I got to show you the pictures they took. It's on my. I can walk. I'm going to walk bad though. They took some picture of me on the. I'm an auxiliary,
You got that?
I was with Austin Taddeo
Austin, yeah.
and
yeah.
the commander Leroy
Yep. Leroy McKenzie
McKenzie and Rosaire
and
Daigle.
Roselle Daigle.
And this one was in Mickey's car.
That one.
No, I was the only girl with my hat on for the
Non, t'as
auxiliary.
dit.
I've been in the auxiliary since 1945.
You've always looked good. You still look good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking a while ago, when I was a teenager, there was a dance hall here at Plaisted, huh?
Yes, Marnie's.
Marnie.
Fred Marnie.
Right on the point, là.
Millie Marnie and Fred Marnie. I worked there.
Is that right?
Yeah, I was working for them a little bit on and off.
How long was that popular? Was it a lot of
Well,
years?
I was maybe 17, 18 years old when I used to go there.
And it lasted quite a bit, because I remember it.
Oh yes, it went after I got married. We go to the dance there after
Yeah.
we were married.
Yeah.
A long time after that. We used to go there, we'd fish, and we'd go and have a drink and go back to our cabin. Me and my husband and another couple. Around New Year's, we didn't go to the dance, we'd go fish, and we'd go see the dancers and take a drink and go back there.
You were fishing for smelts, I'm assuming.
Smelt and big ones when we could.
Oh,
keep
anything,
it, we'd
yeah.
hide them.
We died.
No, was
Do you
it-
know Norman Fournier's mother, Leona? And you know her?
No, I
She
know
was-
Norman, but
She died, she was pretty old. She used fish with me. She was afraid of the game warden. And sometime, well, they would catch a big fish, and we only had so much, 7.5 pounds. We couldn't catch more than that. So I'd hide it under the cabin. And the game warden came. She looked at that place where I hid. And she was so afraid to get caught, you know. I had a kick out of her, poor Leona. One time she caught a hook in her hand, and I said, we've got to go home, Leona. You got to go have that taken out. No, you're going to take it out. I said, yeah, but what if there's poison? Yeah, I can take it out. So I took my pliers and I cut the hook, and then I pulled it out, the pair of pliers, and I put some iodine on it and put a Band-Aid. So after I got here, I called Norman and said, Norman, you better take your mother. Has she got her shot there? He said, no. I said, well, she had a hook caught in her hand. He took her to the hospital right away for a shot. She said, I told you not to tell him. They were fishing like coron. She used to come and fish near me, and her boat would nearly touch mine because she knew I had a good spot.
Do you get Channel 8 here, Channel 4?
Yeah,
Because I interviewed Cora, you know.
I know. I saw her. I
And,
saw Janine,
She was fun.
and I saw a lot of men that I know. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I see a lot of those parties there,
Yeah.
kitchen parties.
So you were fishing out here and placed it in front of the
Oh, I
brook
go
here.
fishing with my boat from my camp near the pier there.
Now, was your husband a fisherman too, or is it something?
Yes, but he didn't like to fish. He was afraid of the game wardens. Even if he didn't do anything wrong, he was afraid of the cops.
Yeah.
He didn't drive. I was driving. But that was his nerves, you know. That's how he was discharged.
Oh, yeah.
And I would get in my boat here. I had a 20-foot, 20 horsepower. I'd go way up, 18 miles up the lake.
Yep.
Way up to the other end of the lake.
Up
And
at,
I'd fish there all afternoon, come home around 3 o'clock. Come back with my fish. But one time we got stuck, me and my friend there. We had to be pulled. The motor shifted from forward to reverse. And we were stuck. But we wanted to fish. We were in the Three Brooks.
Oh.
So I told her, I said, let's fish. We'll see. We'll wave at some boats. They'll pull us up. So we saw a boat come in, and so we put a handkerchief on the pole. We flagged them in. They said, well, you like to fish? I said, yeah. Well, you fish. When we're all done fishing, we'll come and pull you back to shore, to town. So they brought us back to Eagle Lake. Oh, we went through hell on that boat, on that lake, me and my friends.
You enjoyed it?
Oh, I enjoyed it. I even went fishing with my son on the pontoon. That is a beautiful thing to fish.
Yeah.
Was sitting in my chair, and they even had a bathroom on that pontoon. And me, I had fish in my little boat.
Some of them, pontoons, have even a stove on there.
Oh yeah, my son had a little gas stove.
Yep.
And he had a little place where there was a toilet, and he had a curtain there. And I had my chair in the corner, nice chair. He would fish in the front. But I lost him 3 years after he retired, you know. So I couldn't go fishing anymore.
Yeah.
So I gave my boat away and my motor to my son-in-law.
So you don't fish anymore.
I could, if I could, I would, but I can't.
So now you play bingo,
I play bingo now. That's the only pastime I have.
and you play.
I go to the parade, go to church once in a while.
So you play bingo on 2 days a week.
Yeah, Monday and Thursday night. But I'm busy. I crochet. Look what I did in a few days.
I saw that. Now you.
And I was making a car, this one, but I ran out of yarn, so my daughter brought me some yarn there. And I make all kinds of stuff. I make scarves. Oh, make scarves.
Hey, boy, that's nice.
I make all kinds of stuff.
Nice.
Yeah. And I make those cowl neck, they call it there. They put around their neck, and then they bring their coat over it.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of grandchildren, you know.
So you give that away?
Yeah, I give it away. And the Afghan I give them all. Well, I got 38 grandchildren. I got 15 great-grand, 16 great-great-grand, and I got 7 grand. So that's a lot. So they all got Afghan.
Is that the advantage of being older?
Yes. Yeah.
You have
and
all
I saw them all, and I know them all. I know all their name, and I know where they live. I know all my friends, and I lost the one that I lost. In Eagle Lake there, it's terrible. I had 10 friends. They're all gone. Like Janine and Mildred Barreau and Lotte Blanchette, and all my age, you know. That's the problem, but I got 2 good friends there. Francis Saucier, Mickey there. And I got Susan Fournier. She did my shopping today. And then I got Roger Fournier, is very good. In the winter, he keeps all my ramp clean, my doors. And Irvin plows and cuts my grass. So if I wouldn't be for them, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah. Yeah.
My daughter, she can't help me too much because I lost her to cancer, to normal. She had a stomach operation. They had remove half of her stomach.
Oh, yeah.
In Boston, yeah.
Now,
And she's very weak. Huh?
Roger Fournier, is he related to you, or is just...
No, he's not related, but he's a very good friend.
Yeah.
Sometimes he goes for a can every day. Every day he goes for a can. He goes to McDonald's and he goes a little bit shopping. So he says, you need anything? Bring me a carton of coton. He knows what I want. He brings me some coton. If I ran out of milk, he brings me milk. He's very good.
I see him once in a while.
Yeah.
At Paradise, you know.
He's got problem to him, cancer.
Oh, is that right?
They remove a cancer over here, and they he was 9, I think 9. I don't remember if it's 9 weeks of chemo, and now they found out there's 3 other spots and 1 on his head. But
well, you know,
he's good. He's very good.
Like I said, I went to school with him.
Yeah.
And one time I went to his house or trailer that he has.
Yeah.
And he's a big hunter, yeah.
Oh, yes.
And
he's
this place is full of animal heads.
Oh, yes. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah. And I filmed that. I don't know
everything, all kinds of animals, he's got them stuff.
Yeah.
You should see his room.
Who's
it's full.
Roger Fournier.
Roger Fournier.
Yeah.
And I filmed that. I don't know where the film went. We showed it. You know, a lot of films we did, and they disappear or we just lose them.
Yeah.
And I filmed everything inside
his
house.
wife died. He lost his wife. When his wife died, I was in the hospital at that time. And he found her dead in her bed.
Yeah. I think she was Mel Labby's sister.
Mel Labby's sister, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Remember Mel Labby?
Yeah.
I do.
She was
twin. She was a twin.
It Lucien Labbé?
Yeah.
Lucien Labbé, that was her father.
Yeah.
See, I remember all those names. In Eagle Lake there, they call me sometime. Hey, Laura, what was the name of that guy there? If I remember, I tell him. Sometime right away, I don't. And then all of a sudden I remember it and I call them back.
Yep.
It's sometimes everybody's like that though. Because Mickey's like that. Sometimes she says, I can't remember the name now. And then first thing you know, she called me back. I remember now.
Well, we're all like that.
Yeah, and she's 82 then.
Yeah, yeah. You remember it, it comes all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's just like...
Just like I wanted to ask you because somebody told me that you play the harmonica.
Oh, who told you that there?
Well,
Do you? Do you play? Do you have one?
A little bit.
Yeah, we'd like to hear
Oh,
that.
that is.
You know, the doctor didn't want me to play because it's good for my breathing because I got a touch of COPD. What would I play now?
Play something lively. Nice.
Va jouer de quoi que si tu vas aimer.
So this is good for you, huh?
Yes, it's my breathing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where did you learn that and how long ago?
I don't know. It comes to you. My father was playing, and my two brothers were playing.
Yeah.
And my sister played the accordion. And I'm the only one who plays the mouth organ in the family, beside the one who plays the accordion.
Now, when did you start? All of a sudden, when did it?
I don't know. I just took the mouth organ and tried, and yeah.
Is this one you bought, or is it somebody that you had in
Somebody
the
bought
family?
that for me.
Or they bought it for
Yeah,
you.
this one is a different kind. It's my brother. I don't have time to open it. My brother, when he passed away, my twin brother, they used to play. They were good. And the different sound. I was one that I wanted to play in this. I know you like that song. It's
Mount Rosie.
anything you can tell me, I can play. Any song.
It is nice. That's nice.
But this one is C double.
Yeah. Oh boy.
See different?
Yeah.
But I always like to play a little bit on this one because my brother was my brother.
It was your twin brother.
Yeah, twin brothers. They look so much alike that you couldn't tell them apart. And they were in my class in school because in those days we were 2-3 class in one room. And they made me suffer. They would do something and the teacher didn't know which one it was. So she would put them each in the corner on their knees. See, there's this one and this one. See? The twin brothers. That's all my family right here. That's the Thibodeau, Father Thibodeau's sister.
And what was her name?
Huh?
What's her name?
Joanne.
Sorno?
This is Rachel. And this is my mom and my stepmother.
Your mom and your stepmother.
Frances and Marie. And this is my, which one? Where is my real mother? Right there. That's my real mother right here. She was part Indian. And that's my father. And that's my brothers and my sisters.
Which
This
one is your?
me and my husband.
Ah.
Which the big one in the corner?
That's me and my husband.
How old were you at
Thomas.
the time?
I was, that was when we were living in Biddeford. That was before he was drafted. So it must have been in 40, 41.
41.
Yeah.
And the one next to it?
This here?
Yep, the small one, yep.
That's my sister, the one who was blind, that played the accordion, that one. She was blind.
What was her name?
Agnes.
Agnes.
Bishop.
Agnes Bishop. Who's the, is it her husband?
Yeah. Eddie.
Eddie.
Yeah, Eddie Bishop.
How come she was blind? Was she blind all her life?
No, she started with glaucoma, and in those days they never went to see the doctor, and when she went, she lost one eye, and then the other one went too. But she brought all her family blind. She washed, she ironed, and I saw her iron, and I don't know how she did it, but she did it. She washed the floor, waxed the floor, blind.
Hey,
Yeah.
I know.
And she even took care of my girl, Norma, because I was picking potatoes, and the woman who was taking care of Norma didn't want to take care of her anymore because Norma didn't sleep at night. She said, I can't take it anymore. So my sister said, bring it to me. I'll take care of her. I said, but you're blind. How can you take care of her? I took care of mine. I can take care of her. She took care of her more than I could. Kept her clean, and she had a hard time because Norma didn't sleep. She still don't like that.
Is that right?
Yeah, she can stay up all night.
Ça la magane pas.
Non.
Puis l'autre, c'est pas trop au côté d'Hidalgo, là.
No, no.
Oui, c'était là.
That's my stepsister. That's the one that my stepmother had when she married my father.
And her
And
name?
that's her husband, Leonard Dufour.
Puis ça, elle, son nom, c'était qui?
And Anna.
Ça, c'était Anna.
Yeah.
Puis l'autre au côté?
The other one was my sister, Loretta. And she married Clarence Gagnon from Fort Fairfield.
Un autre ramassé de patates?
Oh, yeah. I stayed with her. That's something I didn't tell you. I stayed with her to summer. We cut potatoes for, well, what was that name of that farmer? He was a big farmer in Fort Fairfield. And we cut certified seed. We had to put our feet in stuff and put our gloves in. And they dumped the potatoes in the thing there, and they would go down, we'd cut it. We had so much a barrel. I stayed with her. Tom was working here, so I was alone. I went and stayed with her and cut potatoes. Two summer.
Now, when you did that, did you stay there in Fort Fairfield?
I stayed with her, yeah.
There was a...
Stayed with them.
The farmer had a place?
No, they live in Fort Fairfield.
Oh, they lived in
They had
Fort
a beautiful home. And,
Yep.
and he was working for that farmer, so
Yep.
we were cutting for the farmer. And they were nice. They would bring us something to eat, some coffee. And
There was a farmer in St. Agathe from Fort Fairfield. He had a farm there in St. Agathe. His last name was Burse.
birds.
Never heard that?
No.
Okay.
No, him it was, is that so
Reed?
long ago?
There was-
No, the Reeds, I remember them. Bud Haley was the boss at that time. Maybe you heard about Bud Haley, no? He used to run a lot here and there. He was working for the Reeds, and he was the boss, high boss there.
Gerard Ploud told me from Fort Kent that Gerard Ploud, did you know him?
I heard about that.
He used to take whole families for the fall to
Oh,
pick
in
potato.
Eagle Lake, when the potato time came there was nobody in Eagle Lake. They all left.
They all left.
With the potato.
Yeah.
When we come back home with lots of money, we'd buy all our food for the winter and buy the clothes for the kids. And,
Isn't that something?
yeah, it's a good thing we had that.
Now, Eagle Lake doesn't seem like... Go ahead. Go ahead.
Réponse.
Some of that stuff there, the pantry there,
Oh, yeah.
and it going to deliver it tomorrow.
Nice.
They bring it here?
Huh?
They bring it here?
No, Mickey picks it up for me.
Okay.
Sometimes it's Mickey, sometimes it's normal.
On a perdu l'histoire qu'on avait, là. Hein?
Ben, you know, now you're almost 100. How does
Yeah.
it feel to be 100?
It doesn't feel different. Because I get in my car and I go to Eagle Lake and I feel like I'm 50 years old. I love to drive my car and I drive good. And, you know, I know everything in my car. The heater, the condition, the
Yeah.
air condition. And I don't feel like I'm that old.
Yeah.
It's just when I walk. Well, that's my knees and most of my knees, you know, in my foot.
Yeah.
I got that foot. It's always, see how swell it is?
Yeah.
My toes are so tight that they hurt sometimes. So I soak my feet and I put something between the toes there. But it's hard to get old. Of course, there's so much thing you can't do.
Well, you're one of the few.
I know. I'm lucky that I still know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I can take care of myself. Just last week I made a batch of date-filled cookies.
Yeah.
And of course everybody loves them, so I give them away.
You don't eat it. You don't eat them all, huh?
Well, what's the advantage? I think what makes you special is your memory is very sharp.
Yeah,
You
well,
remember things. You remember,
yeah,
and that's why people call you for information.
yeah, that's why. Yeah.
They do.
Yes, some of them, we were playing, we didn't have a board in Eagle Lake. The board had gone wrong with the bingo board. So we didn't have no board, so we played just like the old days with just the balls. So sometimes they were talking and one said, "What was the last number you said?" One girl said, "Oh, gee, I don't know. Was it 9? No." And the others, "No." I said, "It was 5. The guy who was calling bingo said, "Yes, that's right. It was 5. They were all a bunch of younger ones and they didn't remember what number it was. And so I got with Sir Martin. He's the chief of police from Ashland, but he lives in Eagle Lake. I asked him, I said, I heard that the VFW in Prescal, no, in Portage, Ashland. In Ashland, they had a bingo there and they stopped. They made a restaurant instead. So they had that board. So I called Sir and he said, I'll check for you. So he checked and he called me back. He said, yes, they said that you could have it. But I said, well, I called Mary Blair at Eagle Lake. I said, you better call and check. I said, how much they want for it. So she called me back. She said, all we have to do is go get it. They gave it to us, the board and everything, which is cost about $1,000. So we have a new board there, and a new bingo, and they can thank me and Sir Martin for that. VFW donated it. Eagle Lake had one. They didn't use it. It was upstairs, doing nothing. They didn't want to sell it to us. So we were not too pleased about them. It was, Leroy said he didn't have nothing to do with it. And the finance officer said, he said the members don't want to sell it. Why would they keep it? Yeah. They got 3 boards upstairs doing nothing. Old boards and new ones. And so we got one for nothing, and it was very nice.
So have you always been this involved in the community?
Oh, yes. I was involved in the Ladies of St. Anne.
Ladies of St. Anne's?
I mean, I used to be good with the KC too. When they had meals, I always donated and helped them. And Eagle Lake, a lot in Eagle Lake. In the Watergrass here, we had a good hall and everything. We had a funeral mass, and I was president of the Ladies of St. Anne. And then I joined Eagle Lake. And I'm in the 2 there, and I'm still a KC auxiliary. I'm still a VFW in American Legion auxiliary.
Is it a wall of grass? Is there a town hall where people meet?
We bought the school.
Okay.
The school was closed.
Oh.
So the town didn't have an office. We were paying rent for that little office they had. So they gave the school for, I don't know.
$1.
Yeah. And we made a community center.
Yeah.
And the town office is there. And some of them, they were, before the virus there, they had a school for kids to learn to dance. And they let the kids play football, baseball, basketball, whatever. So we got a beautiful community center. And it doesn't, they don't have to pay rent, but they make meals after funerals, and we had a nice meal on Mother's Day there. The Jardin, Elaine de Jardin.
Oh yeah.
She's very involved in the town.
Yeah.
Now we just went through this virus thing that had changed our world.
Now there's another one coming.
Yeah, there's another one.
Polka dot.
Yeah.
What is it?
Pox,
anyway.
Yeah. Monkeypox.
Monkeypox.
Wait, it doesn't look good.
Yeah.
Well,
it's just like smallpox.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Now,
I hope we don't get it around here.
You were not around when there was a Spanish flu. That's before your time. Huh?
Yeah.
1917, I think.
Yeah. That's when my brothers was born, I think,
Yeah.
1916. My sister, 17, 18, the boys were
Yeah,
twins.
You went through a few things in our world in your time. Like when polio was going.
Oh yes, they were giving us shot for polio.
Yeah. And little kids, would get polio and be paralyzed for
Yes,
life.
yes.
That was a
Oh, a lot of things.
yeah.
There was that, what do you call that thing where it was so hard and we couldn't get food?
depression.
Depression. I went through the depression.
Yeah, you did. You were.
They had the men picking rocks, but we only had dirt road. My dad would walk around and pick rocks out of the road, and on the side for the town. So they give him an order to go get the food at the store.
That was in the early 1930s, I think.
Yeah, I remember when the thing was Roosevelt came in. We had built a big fire in the middle of the town of Eagle Lake. We had, everybody would bring old chairs and everything, and they was a fire going, and that was when, I think it could have been when Hitler, it got rid of Hitler or something, I don't remember, but the only thing was Roosevelt came in that year. I think that's when Roosevelt came.
1932, I think it was.
I must have been around 10 years old, I remember good.
Yeah.
1932.
Yeah,
Yeah, 22, yeah.
Yeah.
and that was hard then, before Roosevelt came in, it was very hard.
Yeah, because you would have been 10 years old during the Depression.
Yeah.
And that was hard times.
It was a hard time. I'm telling you, it was a hard time.
Yes, it was. There was no work. And that's why
there was no work, and they all had big families.
Yeah.
And we had, that's when they put me to work at the hospital there with the nuns.
Yes.
And they took my two twin brothers and they sent them to the CC.
Yes.
You know where they had the CC there?
Yep.
Well, they were there. It was just like the army,
It was.
You had to go.
You had to go.
Yeah. And that money would go to the family.
Yeah, that was it's called the Civilian Conservation
Yeah.
Corps.
Civilian
And it was-
Conservation Corporation.
And it was really to put people to work. And
Yeah,
but the work was different.
Picking worms on the trees
Yep.
and things like that.
Yep.
There was a CC camp right on the hill before you run into Portage Lake. On the right, there was a big CC camp there.
Okay.
And they used to come down to the dance in Eagle Lake. Of course, the girls would kill themselves to run down to see those guys. They were all dressed in green.
Yeah.
And I remember every time we'd go by, I remember that place, they had camps there, tents. They were sleeping in there. But my brother was not there. They had gone to Camden, I think. They were in
That
Camden.
must be where the golf course is in Portage. You overlook the town, overlook the
Yes,
lake.
right before you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just as you're
There
going
was
down the
all
hill.
tents there, and
Yeah.
there was a big bunch because the trucks would come bring them down. They were all in the back of the trucks. And they would go down Main Street, and boy, you could see the girls going down the street too. We'd go down to Uncle Orby Devo and at the dance place. Yeah, we had fun though in Eagle Lake.
So out of your 100 years, what's the period that you thought was the best to live in? Certainly
I
not.
think was the best is when my husband came back from the service.
Yeah. After the war.
After the war.
war.
After World War II.
Yeah. And we were also prosperous then.
Oh yes, yeah. That's when we had electricity and we had the water in the house.
Yeah.
And
And
that's the kids were healthy, and I had healthy kids, and I was taking care. I took care of my mother-in-law for 25 years.
oh yeah.
She was a hellion to take care of. You don't remember Edmund Martin? He had a dance hall on the Fringeville Road. He used to call that.
Oh yeah. Martin.
Yeah, Edmund Martin.
In my day, they called it the drugstore. Somebody had a drugstore there. But I went there dancing as a teenager.
Yeah, well, that was his aunt that I was taking care of. It was my mother-in-law. And she was very hard to take care of, but I took care of her for 25 years. my father-in-law for 7 years. He passed away from a heart attack. But her, she was strong, she was hateful, but I put up with her. I felt bad because she was an old lady, you know, and she was a diabetic. I had to give her shots every day.
Holy
She was living with you.
Yes, that was their house. When I married, I moved into their house. I stayed with them during the war. And then when Tom came out, they didn't want us to move out, so they gave us the house. But it was just a shell of a house. We put a lot in it. There was no bedroom upstairs, was just one open up.
And that was in Eagle Lake.
No, here in Waldegrass.
In Wallagrass.
Yeah. But in Eagle Lake, my father built a house, was very small. Was one, maybe big like this here. And upstairs was just the same way. There was 5 beds there. All the beds were foot to foot.
Yeah.
Uh,
That was common in those days. I
oh
remember
yes, that was.
my neighbors. They had 10 kids, and the upstairs was not rooms. It
No.
was one big room.
Yeah. Well, when I was married, I moved here. There was no room, so when they gave us the house, my husband got there with a carpenter, and they built 3 rooms. One for my son, one for the girls, and one for us. And then my mother-in-law had a bedroom downstairs, so we had 4 bedrooms. And we had a living room and a big kitchen. I thought I was in heaven when I moved there.
Yeah.
But here, I always been happy here. It's not too far from the town, and if it wouldn't be so much traffic. When we moved here, was not traffic like this. It's getting worse.
Well, you know, everywhere was less traffic.
And I don't care how much they'll pay for gas. They're going to ride.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to ride. I never thought I'd see that, but I went to put gas in my car yesterday, and it was not even, it was about half. I paid $37.
Yeah.
I know.
People who ride all the time there
Well,
for
people
work.
who work.
And the truckers.
The truckers, yeah, that's terrible.
Well, they put oil in my tank here the other day. She was half, $636.
Yeah. At my house, it's over 1,000. You get a bill from the oil company, 1,000, $1,100. Holy mackerel!
If I would have been empty, that's what I would have paid. Because I paid $600 and it was half.
Yeah. And
I don't know. I don't know if people's going to warm their house this winter.
You say, is that a bill for 2 times or 1 time? 1,100.
Yeah, you don't know.
Holy gee.
Yeah.
Now, when I was a kid too, a lot of the homes,
We had wood stove.
yeah, but they had no basement.
Oh no, no.
You remember that?
Yes.
In the fall, they would. Il appelait ça ranch aussi.
Well, they would put some piece of wood there, and they would put some straw
And
or
sawdust.
dirt.
Sawdust sometimes.
Yeah, sawdust or dirt.
To keep the house warmer.
Yeah, and in the spring they had to take it all out again. And
Right.
our house was built on. There was no cellar.
Yeah.
There was no foundation, and we had a little hole where we keep our jars. We kept our butter in there, and the salted string beans, salted greens, and onions. You know,
Les patates.
the patat. It would stay good.
You'd salt everything. That's how you preserve.
We salted, yeah.
You salted a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you salt any meat?
Oh yes, yeah. But most of our meat we'd kill it in the fall and we'd hang it up. We had a little place in the shed, which there was no window and just a door, and we had those big jars there where we put the meat in.
Wait.
We salted.
You'd salt it.
Yeah, we all had to desalt it before we cook it.
Now, did you have animals at all around the house?
I had dogs and cats all the time.
But that's it. But you'd never had any cows or chickens or pigs.
I had a pig, which I bought the kids. My mother gave me a little pig, a little red pig, about this long. The mother didn't want it. They called that the rut. She had so many tits, and that was extra.
Oh,
It was little, so she gave it to me, and nursed him with a nipple. And that pig came big. It was 500 pounds. I sold it. I didn't want to kill it because he was following me everywhere in the house, outdoor. And I'd lose him. He'd take off, go down the road, and I had to go and get him. And so I sold it to the meat market so the kids didn't have to eat it. He wouldn't have eaten it because I had 3 ducks. I bought them. Those ducks was all around the house, quack, 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 all day long. And sometimes they go to the brook. They go down to the lake. I was near the brook. And somebody would call me, Laura, your duck is going down the brook there. So I had to go down, get my ducks. They come back, followed me. So I decided to kill them. And when I put one on the table, it was nice roasted duck. You look at that. My son said, did you notice we didn't see our ducks today? I said, no, you're not going to see them anymore too. Well, they never eat it. They never want to eat it. I had to give those 3 ducks away. But chicken, I had a lot of chicken, though I canned them. Yeah, it was the only way we could keep meat.
Yeah, that was the only way to keep meat.
Yeah.
Now I notice on the refrigerator, you've got all kinds of pictures, but the big thing is that it says supporter. 2022, 2021.
That's well, I send some money sometime to the. It's not the Indian where they take care of the kids there. Sometimes I'll send them money. They send me some pens. See all the pens I get? Look.
Oh, yeah.
I get that in the mail. So I feel bad. I send them a little bit of money. And then they send me those stickers to put on the fridge, their supporter. Some of them are from the VFW. Some are from all kinds of company.
Now, who's the one in uniform? It looks like a Marine.
That's my great-grandson. He joined the Marines.
Yeah, it looks it looks it's a Marine uniform.
Yes, he's a Marine. He's in the Marine.
It's your great-grandson.
Great-great-grandson.
Great-great-grandson.
The 5th generation.
What's his name? Do you know?
Is Aiden Daigle.
Where does he live?
He lives in Portland.
Wow.
And he joined the Marine, and they're sending him to college, and they're paying for it.
Oh.
But when he comes out, he's got to keep going. He'll have 4 years in the Marine then.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost him nothing to go to college. He's so smart.
It's
That
just
kid is not on drug. He don't smoke. He don't drink.
Yeah, that's good, huh?
Mm.
That's big
Yeah.
today.
Oh, I'm so proud. I got all my grandkids. They're all smart, except 3 girls we had trouble with drug. But they're coming there. They got kids and they're coming good there.
That must be the worst thing in the world, to lose a child to drugs or a grandchild.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you can't get them back most of the time.
Because I was so lucky with all those kids. I never had no crippled ones, no retarded. They're all healthy, but the darn drug.
Yeah.
And Prescal and Bangor is bad. That's where they live, you know.
Yeah.
Ça, c'est tes
Il en
grandchildren.
manque une là-dessus.
Ça, c'est tes grandchildren.
Yeah, les grand.
Qui est dans le mi-temps, là?
C'est moi. Moi et mon mari.
Toi et ton mari, puis les enfants sont...
Il y a Michael, Susie. Il y a Scott, Susie. This is Michael Susie. This is Scott Susie. Look, they look alike. And this is Keith Thibodeau. Remember the Arcadia?
Yeah.
Where they used to have that, Roger Susie and Al Thibodeau?
Yeah.
Well, that's his son. My daughter was married at that time to Al. And this is Laurie Saucier. And this is Tina Saucier. And this is Lisa Thibodeau.
All your grandkids.
All my grandkids. They're all pretty and they're all healthy. And he was in the, what do you call it, CBs?
Yeah.
Him. And Scott was in the army. Amy was too devilish to go to do anything, Michael. And the girls, well, they were all married. They all got kids.
Yeah.
They're all right. I mean, they're going to outgrow that drug, I hope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awful.
Yeah.
Now
It's not my kids, my daughters. It's the grandkids.
Yeah, yeah.
I know.
Well, you know, when we were young teenagers, we never heard of drugs.
When I brought up my 3 kids, there was no drug.
No, never heard of it.
They didn't smoke and they didn't drink.
Yeah.
I don't know what they did. They wanted to dance. I took them, and I'd go get them. So every Sunday afternoon, I'd take them down to a place where the kids would get together and dance there. And at a certain time, I'd say, I'm going to pick you up. So they were all there. I had all the kids from Plaisted here. There were 5 families, and they didn't have no cars. Now I had a pickup.
Yeah.
So they all jump in the back of the pickup, and I'd take them to the dance.
I'm told it must be worrisome today because of these drugs.
That's it, yeah.
And once you get hooked, t'es perdu là.
No, puis so many of them kill themselves.
Pas de bon sens. They were saying that, you know, with guns that are in our country right now, I think that they're used mostly for suicide.
Yes, oh, that's terrible. That.
Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
Now, that used to be a sin when we were kids, suicide.
Oh, yes.
You couldn't kill yourself.
Oh, no, you couldn't. No, that was it. And if the gun don't hurt anybody if you know how to use them.
Yeah.
But those very automatic guns,
No,
the 15 there, that should be sold.
No.
That's for the service, the army.
Yeah.
I got a gun, I got a 20 with shots there. And it's right near the door in the little bedroom. And there's a bullet in it. And if somebody comes and force the door, I'll shoot. Because I know how to shoot it. I used to kill all the squirrels around here and there. I had a squirrel. He was always raising hell in the shed there. So one day I saw him. He was sitting on the little porch right near the door. So I got my gun and went over and shot him. But I shot in my door too.
Yeah,
my son always teased me. He said, "You shoot, all right. You shoot the doors."
I know. Well, Laura, it was very nice. It's been a long time. We've wanted to get together.
Yeah.
We've been talking
I
about it.
remember Don and his brother,
Right.
the one who was a priest. And you had another brother too.
Yep.
They used to come see their mother, and I was friendly with his mother. So we were in the same place at rehab,
Uh-huh.
and she had hurt her collarbone.
Her neck, yeah.
And
Her
me,
neck.
surgery on my hip. So I'd go. The first time somebody came, they said, "There's a elderly lady there, and she'd like to say the rosary, and there's nobody with her." I said, "Well, I'll go." So I went over and started saying the rosary. The first thing you know, I collected another one, and the first thing you know, we were 5-6 saying the rosary with Madame Ramon. And we didn't know his brother was a priest. And we were sitting at the table with those women from St. Francis, and they had a big mouth, you know. We were talking bad, saying stories and laughing, and he was a priest. We didn't know that. He was sitting in the corner. And then Mrs. Raymond had a laugh, you know, and a smile on her face. And after a while, she said, "Oh, I forgot to introduce you. This is my son, Father." We look at each other. What did we do? He said, "That's all right." He said, "I enjoyed you girls."
I know.
Yeah, we didn't know he was a priest.
Yeah, it was a good stay in the hospital. I remember that, and my
we
mom
said the
enjoyed it
rosary every
tremendously.
day.
Yep.
She said the rosary. She was slow. She'd say it slow, you know.
Yeah.
And some of the girls, "Well, it takes too long." "Well, you got nothing else to do. Come on, let's say the rosary."
Ah, good days.
I was there 3 times in that rehab. Well, I had 2 hips replaced.
Yeah.
And the funny thing happened. I was sitting on the side of the bed, and one of my hip came apart. The ball popped out. So, of course, what about something painful? I don't know how come I didn't faint. I must have been very strong. The doctor said you had to be, because that's the worst thing that can happen. And I couldn't walk, of course. So I had my bracelet. I called my alert. They called my daughter, and they came over. The ambulance came. They couldn't put it back in Fort Kent. They work hard, though. They couldn't put it back in. So they got me ready, and they went to Bangor. Bangor couldn't put it in either. So they had to go in, surgery, and put another one, another hip.
Holy jeez.
Yeah. That's when I came back there. They put me in Eagle Lake. No, I didn't like it over there. Oh, it was the worst place you can be is in Eagle Lake. So I said, I'm going home. The doctor said, she said, no, you can't go home. I said, yes, I'm going home. Whatever you're doing here, I can do home. They didn't do nothing. Even change my bed. So my daughter came and said she wants to go home. We'll take her home. We'll stay with her. So I came here and I called Fort Kent and I got into rehab in Fort Kent. I was there 15 days.
Yeah.
And I love it there. It was nice. Nice place. They're lucky to have a place like that in Fort Kent.
Oh, we are. Here we are.
They're building across the street there. Is that expansion of the hospital?
No, that's going to be a new nursing home.
Nursing home.
Yes. You
Yeah.
don't have enough. Don't have enough nursing home.
No, there's a demand.
Yeah.
There is.
Because when I called from Bangor for a place to be, I had to go to a nursing home. After 7 days in Bangor, they sent me to rehab. A guy from Eagle Lake called. They wanted me to go over to Eagle Lake. There was a place over there. But Fort Kent didn't have no place. So I went to Eagle Lake. When they told me I had to go there, I was not too pleased. But what else could I do? But my daughter came, take care of me, so I came home. But Charlene had to go back home, so I said, I'm going to go to rehab in Fort Kent. They took me there.
A lot of people are happy in a nursing home.
Well, yes.
Some are not, but
Yeah.
some are happy.
Well, some of them are too lazy to take care of themselves. That's what I say. There's some young women that I know that's there, they should take care of themselves. Did you see that's my son, flag,
Who are they?
my husband and my son. The
flags.
American Legion gave me that. Well, when they died, no, they gave you a flag there.
Yes, they do.
And they gave me my son's flag because he was divorced, and they didn't give it to his wife. They gave it to me.
To you.
She was there though, but they gave it to me.
You know what's noticeable about your home? It's a home.
Yeah.
You know, you say you like it here. And as I look around, you've got pictures, you've got lots of things that you've collected over the years. I see the cups on the wall. I see
You see my little animal?
and I saw the animals.
I had 2 of those. I gave one
It's
to my granddaughter.
gorgeous. It's a home.
It's all little souvenirs.
Yes, they are. You know,
The cats are all from my girlfriends in Eagle Lake. They knew I love cats, you know.
yeah.
And then that picture over there, that's when they gave it to me when I was 98 years.
Yeah.
The parade in Soldier Pond,
Yep.
the Pond Fest.
Oh,
Yes.
Well, she said, "You're going to be ready for the Pond Fest this year?" I said, "I guess so. I can't say no, you know."
I know. Very nice.
Oh yeah.
And you've got all of your tricotage.
Oh
You've
yes,
got-
my Afghan I
Your
made all my
Afghan.
pillows.
Oh,
Yeah.
it really is a home, Laura.
I
no
had
wonder.
to buy a new TV just lately there, and a new microwave. I thought they would last me the time I was there, but they didn't. Well, the microwave was peeling. I never heard about that. It was all peeling inside, and
How old is it?
my daughter said, "Mom, that's not good because
No,
that's
no.
radiation. You put your food in there."
Yeah.
So Roger went to Prescal and he brought me a microwave, put it there. And then he went and got me a TV because it was getting black. And it would come clear and would get black. And the guy told me that the bulb was going.
Yeah.
When the bulb burns, he said there's nothing you can do. So I bought a new one. I said, hell, I'll take it with me to the nursing home. But I don't think so.
No.
I hope I don't have to go there.
Well, you have a good attitude, huh?
Hmm?
So that helps a lot.
Yeah.
I don't go see the doctor just once a year for.
That's right.
I really don't have to go, but they called me to go. But I don't do nothing. I don't do blood work. I don't do nothing. I don't need to. And I don't take no medication. None at all. I take a Tylenol when my neck hurts. I got disc problem in my neck. It gives me a headache, you know. And I take a Tylenol or I'll take an Advil. It helps, but it not heals it.
No.
Well,
And then my old shoulder, if I sleep too long on my left, when I get up, it hurts. But after a while, it gets better. Hey, I crochet. I do everything. I do my solitaire. I do my find a word. I crochet. I read. I read a lot. Look at the books over there. I read a lot.
you stay active.
I stay active. I got a little
That's the
garden.
trick.
I got cucumbers, a tomato plant, onions, lettuce growing all around my ramp there. They made me a garden.
Yep.
I planted my flowers. I'm active.
You do, and that's what keeps you alive.
I go to the garage. I use my, I call that my four-wheeler. I got a walker with four wheels. I go there and I leave it there and I get in my car. I got another walker in my car. When I get to the senior citizen, I take my other walker and go up the ramp. Yeah.
You got it all figured out?
Yes, you have to.
Yeah.
You have to.
You have to, and you have to watch everything you do. Careful not to fall.
Yeah.
Yep. That's it.
That's the worst.
Falling
I
is
go in the
worst.
shed. I got a step there, but I know just what to do. The girls, you shouldn't go in the shed. You're gonna fall. I said, look, I'll show you what I do. Well, it's all right if you do it like that. But they check on me, you know.
Well, thank goodness. And it sounds like a lot of neighbors look out for you. Everybody
Well,
looks out
yeah,
for Laura.
If it wouldn't be for them, like Irvin changed
I
my
know.
tires under
Yep.
my car from winter to summer. And Mickey is very good. She worries about me. She checks on me and she makes sure that I have everything I need.
Yep.
And Susan, she did my shopping this morning. I needed quite a few things. And I eat a lot of TV dinners, but they're good.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, what's your daily routine? Is it a routine? Like,
It's a-
what time do you get up? What time do you go to
It's a
bed?
routine. I go to bed at 11, watch TV till 12 in my bedroom.
Yeah,
And then I get up at 7:30.
yeah.
And then I have a toast and my orange juice and my coffee. And for dinner, I'll have a sandwich. Sometime I'm not hungry, I'll have a couple of, I like my Oreos. I eat Oreo and a cup of tea. And for supper, I have a good supper. I have a TV dinner or I cook some eggs. I make my egg salad. I like egg salad.
How well do you sleep?
Oh, I sleep good.
Really?
I don't take nothing. I sleep good.
Is that nice, huh?
Yeah. I dream a lot. That means I sleep good. And I have a woman that comes every 2 weeks. She washes my floor and she does a little cleaning, change my bed every week. And that's it.
Yeah.
Diane Penche, she's very smart. Cleaned up in no time at all. She charged $10 an hour, but I always give her more. It's worth it. I know I clean for nothing, and I don't want them to clean for nothing. Sometimes she said, that's too much. I said, no. I wish they would have told me that when they gave me 75 cents there for an hour. They could have given me $1. Well, I worked for a lot of old people. They were all old people around home when I got married. Was across the road was an old couple. Next door to me was an old couple. All over there on the highway there. They're all gone now. They were all old people. So I took care of them. I gave the perms to them. I cut their hair. did everything.
And now it's coming
And
back
now
to
it's
you.
coming back to me.
It's coming back, and
Yeah.
people
Yeah,
appreciate it.
You know,
And
that's what it says.
they appreciate it.
You got to give to receive.
That's absolutely right.
And you got to forgive to be forgiven. That's something.
Well, Laura, thank you. What
Oh,
can
you're
I say? Mark, it was great.
Oh, yeah,
It's
we've been-
always good to see you. Always good to see
We've
you.
been wanting to do this a long time.
A long time. Well, thank you. We're going to take a few pictures around here.